Yo, man, it's fight time, man. Prediction time for the fight we didn't ask for. Keith Thurman and Mario Barrios fight is tomorrow. The weigh-in's been complete. Surprisingly, I'm not gonna lie, it was a small amount of odds that I had that I thought Keith Thurman wasn't gonna make weight, man, but he made weight, bro. He made it pretty comfortably, actually. He was at 145, so he was like a little bit over 2 pounds below the weight limit, and Mario Barrios came in a couple of ounces below the weight limit at 146 point something. But before I get my breakdown into what I thought about the weigh-in today and make my prediction, I'm gonna ask you, what you take away from the weigh-in the other day?
What I took away from the weigh-ins, that to me, Thurman, to me, he looked like he in great shape. So that's the first thing I realized. He looked like he in great shape. He looked a little drained, but like you said, he made the weight back 2 pounds. So it wasn't like he was pushing it. I think I would have been more concerned if he came in right at 147, because he looked a little bit more drained than he normally do with his weigh-ins. But I know he's getting older, so it's getting a little bit harder for him to make 147. But for him to make 145, that was pretty impressive to me. I knew Barrios was gonna have a problem making the weight because he's coming up from 140. So I know it was comfortable for him to get in that 146 range. So to me, I didn't take too much from it, other than Keith Thurman do look like he in pretty good shape. So that is could be a key factor in the fight.
Yeah, agreed. I'm gonna say something, man. I thought his midsection, I'm gonna say pause on this, but I thought Keith Thurman's midsection was chiseled, man. I think he actually focused on developing his body and getting ready for the body assault that he's about to face in this fight. Cause I really do believe the game plan for Mario Barrios will be to go to Keith Thurman's body, bro. And I think you can kind of tell that he put in some core work on this fight. Mm-hmm. But like I said, we'll see how you take it. Just because you can do a couple sit-ups don't mean, you know what I'm saying, you can take those punches to your rib cage. Them abs ain't on your rib cages, so we'll see what happens when you get punched in them ribs and that liver. See if we can take those liver shots. But other than that, man, what else you took from the weigh-ins, man? You didn't see the height advantage that Barrios had. You didn't take nothing away from that. And how much Keith Thurman had to look up to Barrios. That kind of caught me off guard a little bit.
Yeah. You could see it visually. Yeah, it stood out, but for some reason, I don't think it's going to be a factor, because I don't think Barrios is going to use his reach advantage like he should. I think he's going to. Well, we'll break down what we think we're going to do in the fight, but I don't think he's going to take advantage of it. So I don't think it's going to be a big factor. I think Thurman has the higher IQ. I think he's a better boxer. So I think that him having being a little bit taller and maybe a little bit longer is not going to affect Thurman too much. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that part of it. So it's not a big deal to me.
I kind of thought that too, but at the end of the day, Thurman still had to work his way into those wars. So even if it's just the first half of every round, there's still the range that Thurman has to close in on Barrios. And if Barrios has an educated game plan, I say early in the fight, he'll be able to survive a couple rounds, in my opinion, which is more than we giving him credit for. And most people, I think most people are not really giving him credit to even make it past 5, to be honest. So I think that range that he's going to have is going to surprise a lot of people how he uses his jab, and I think he's going to try to box Keith Thurman for a little while until the mid to late rounds. But I think that height advantage that I kind of slept on. I didn't know it was that much of a height advantage and reach advantage. I think it's going to help him out early in the fight. So I kind of see this fight going a little different than I thought it was earlier this week. But here we go, man. It's fight prediction time. Oh, you want to talk about undercard a little bit? You want to mention Santa Cruz a little bit and what you thought about his weigh-in?
Yeah, you could talk about what you talked about off camera. I thought it was pretty interesting right quick.
Yeah, I was mentioning to you earlier, and I thought Santa Cruz, he kind of seemed disingenuous, man. He kind of seemed like he was going through the motions. Like, he really wasn't excited about this fight. You can kind of see. I don't know if he was weight drained. I don't know if he was possibly sick from being weight drained. Going a long time without eating food and just drinking water and spitting it out. That kind of takes a lot of wear and tear people don't know about in boxing. But making weight in itself is the hard part in a lot of fighters' lives, to be honest. So he kind of seemed like he was just lethargic doing an interview, man, in my opinion. I don't know if I was telling you behind the scenes, I don't know if it's just because he's an older fighter now and his style is starting to affect him and or what. But like I was telling you off camera, it almost seems like he's been put in with these younger fighters more often, because it seems to me like they know he's a name and they're trying to get one of these younger fighters to make a name off of his name. And with his style and his age, man, I just think at some point when you run across a younger fighter with the same style as you, and you're not really known to have knockout power, at some point you want to get caught by one of these younger fighters. What you think about that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. Like you said, I think he had a point in his career where he's not maybe a headliner, especially on a pay-per-view event, but he's still an action-packed fighter that can steal the show. So, Thurman and Barrios may not be as exciting as Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz might have the best fight of the night because he's always come forth, throw a lot of punches, and he's going to make the other guy have to fight back. So it's always going to be a exciting fight. The downside of that, like he was saying, is those guys don't last long, especially when they get to their 30s. Normally by then, they done took too much punishment, especially after that brutal knockout he had by Tank Davis. I think he's on the downside of his career. And like you said, getting in with these young guys with that same style, it's going to start to catch up with him. So I think that you will start to see Santa Cruz over these next couple of years as like the co-main event because like you said, he's always going to be action-packed. But I think those fights going to be a lot more competitive and eventually he's going to start getting beat up. But, hopefully he'll know when to get out the sport and, to fold his cards. So because with that kind of style, you really can have long-term effects. So I hope he understands that, get your money, get paid, but don't stay around too long and leave yourself hurt for the future.
Most definitely. All right, man, let's get to the main event, man. For these predictions real quick. How do you see this fight going? Then, you want to do the odds first? Let's do the odds before we do the breakdown. Just to have fans think about it before we give our thoughts, and then they can actually see they agree with me or agree with you on it. What was the odds for this fight, and did that change your opinion on your prediction?
Man, it's something in the water. It's weird because the odds have changed a lot. I think a month ago, if you looked at the odds, it was like 3.5 to 1 for Keith Thurman. Now it's all the way down to 2 to 1 for Keith Thurman, and I think Mario Barrios, you get like a little bit over like a plus like 175 for taking Mario Barrios. So you're not even giving 2 times your money if you take him to win. I think if you take Keith Thurman by stoppage, it's like a 2 to 1. And if you take Keith Thurman to win, you get like I think like $75 on 100 or something like that. But the odds have really tightened up over this last week. And then we had the rumors of of a hand injury, and Keith Thurman, maybe not being, all the way into the sport like he used to be. Like I said, Vegas always knows something to me. So to me, it made me rethink about my prediction somewhat, because these odds got me thinking like, what is going on behind the scene that makes, the odds get so much tighter over the last week.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Especially since Mario Barrios got knocked out his last fight by a smaller guy. And even though Keith Thurman is off a long layoff and off a loss to Manny Pacquiao, the odds are still too close to me, man. If in my opinion, if this the Keith Thurman that I'm thinking should have showed up, I'm thinking the odds should be way in his favor, in my opinion. He's the bigger fighter. He has the stronger punch. And recent memory, he wasn't knocked out, man. To be honest, he wasn't really, I ain't gonna say hurt. He was hurt because he was knocked down, but he wasn't badly hurt like Mario Barrios was. And Mario Barrios was beat up his last 2 fights. The fight before he fought Tank, he got beat up in the championship fight. So that in my opinion, should sway the odds, in my opinion. But like you said, something in the air, man, something in the water. Vegas knows something. They know something they're not telling us, and the odds are a lot closer because if some of those rumors I heard is correct, then don't be surprised, man, if you see Barrios have some success in this fight.
I'm gonna tell you before we get to our predictions how crazy these odds are. If you take Keith Thurman to win by decision, you get almost 2 times your money. You're getting plus 170. If you take him to knock out Mario Barrios, you're getting 210 on your money. So if you put $100 on him to knock Mario Barrios out, you're getting $210. If you put $100 for him to win a decision, you get $170. For somebody that's supposed to be a heavy favorite, you don't get those kind of odds. So something weird is going on. I don't know what, but I guess we'll break it down and see what we come up with these predictions.
Well, let's get to it, man. Let's go right into it. What's your prediction for this fight? How you see it going? How you see it breaking down? And let me know if you put money on your prediction.
At first, like I said, we've been talking about this fight for a little while. Like I said, I didn't like this fight. I'm still not a fan of it being on pay-per-view, but I initially had Keith Thurman winning conventionally and maybe stopping him in like the ninth round, and getting a knockout, a stoppage, which Keith Thurman haven't had in a little while. You know what I'm saying? He can go back to being one time. But after the so-called maybe hand injuries and just all the question marks, it got me rethinking it. And I think it's gonna be a pretty competitive and close fight, man. I think that Mario Barrios gonna come out on fire because he always comes to fight. He's not gonna just come there to lay down. I think he's gonna be high volume. He's gonna try to work that body early. He's gonna try to get inside and not let Keith Thurman outthink him and try to bounce around and try to steal around. And I think because of his volume, it's gonna be a pretty even fight for the first 7 rounds or so. But I think Keith Thurman, being used to 147 and being a bigger man, I think he would start to bully Mario Barrios maybe the last 4 or 5 rounds, and I think he'll pull it out. I have him winning maybe like 7-5, maybe 8-4, but it'll be a highly competitive fight, but I give a decision to Keith Thurman. As far as my odds, even though I'm picking Keith Thurman to win, I think I might have to throw a little bit of money on Keith Thurman winning by decision with the plus 170. But I also would suggest that people to take Mario Barrios winning by decision for plus 380, because I don't think Mario Barrios is going to stop Keith Thurman, but he may pull out a decision. If that's the case, you can get 4 times your money. So if you can put $50 on Barrios to win this fight on decision, you almost bring home $200.
Yes, you kind of swayed my opinion a little bit, but then I'll kind of bounce back to my original thought. I agree with you though. I do think Keith Thurman is going to try to bully Barrios in the late rounds. But like I said earlier in this video, I think in the beginning of the fight, I think Barrios going to have some success. I think he's going to be throwing shots a lot at Thurman's rib cage and his chest. He's going to be trying to punch him from his shoulders down to his waist. He's going to be hitting all those areas between those. And I feel like he's going to have a lot of success early in the fight. I'm going to give him probably out of the first 7 rounds, I'm going to say Barrios is going to win at least 4 or 5 of those first 7, in my opinion. But I think at some point when he started to slow down and when Keith started to see he's losing the fight, I think Keith is going to catch Barrios, man. I think it's going to be a 9th round stoppage for Keith Thurman. I think he's going to stop Barrios. I originally thought it was going to be earlier. I originally thought that Keith Thurman should get him out of there before 5. But now, after seeing him face to face, the rumors that came out, the odds that came out, it kind of got me doing some film study a little bit on Barrios and all kind of stuff. So after that, I kind of weighed in all the the stigma, I guess, from the long layoffs for both, the losses from both, and how they lost and the wars they had. I just think Keith Thurman is going to buckle down in the late rounds and actually get Barrios out of there. I think Barrios' success is going to get to his head early. He's going to go down for a body shot. He's going to drop his head too low. And I think Keith Thurman is going to do the overhand right that he loved to throw so much. And I think he's going to catch Barrios. And we've seen Barrios in the Tank Davis fight. Once Tank Davis got him hurt, we seen Barrios didn't know how to not get hurt no more. And I think once he get hurt, it's going to be the beginning of the end of Barrios. So I'm calling the 9th round stoppage for Keith Thurman.
Time. But okay, if you believe that, I need you to go on FanDuel now and make that bet. You got 2-1. If you think he gonna get that stoppage, you can drop $100 and get you $210 back. So that's a good quick double up for you.
I'm gonna not drop the whole 100, but since I'm not paying for that pay-per-view, when we actually go to a bar to watch the fight, I'm gonna drop that $75 I would have paid for the pay-per-view. I'm gonna drop that on my bet. That way, you know what I'm saying? I ain't really losing much. Because if I would have paid for the pay-per-view, I would have lost that 75 anyway. But if you keep them pull off what I think he's going to pull off, then I actually made a little change in my prediction. So that's a win-win in my opinion.
Yeah, you get about 170 back if you put 75 on.
Facts. With that being said, man, you got anything else you want to ask you this channel, man, or this topic, man?
I think we covered it all.
Looking forward to the fight, man, tomorrow, man. With that being said, this is your favorite channel, man, the CTB. This is Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Say peace to him, man.
All right, everybody, remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel going. Tell your mother about it, brother about it, sister about it, uncle, cousin, co-worker, pastor about it. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing. But most of all, God, peace and love, and we out of here. Peace.
Peace.